Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion, is well versed in the inner workings of the fight industry, particularly when it comes to Dana White, the UFC president. Now preparing for his debut with the Professional Fighters League (PFL), Ngannou reflects on his decision to leave the UFC, turning down a significant contract offered to explore free agency. He is fully aware that White has the power to shape the narrative, including the story surrounding a potential fight with Jon Jones, which never came to fruition. Recently, White suggested that it was Ngannou who avoided a fight with Jones, stating during a Contender Series event that, "You can't make people fight, and we couldn't make Francis fight Jon Jones." This narrative isn't new to Ngannou, who faced similar comments when the matchup was initially discussed. During a pre-fight press conference promoting his upcoming bout against Renan Ferreira in October, Ngannou addressed White's comments with a knowing smile. He believes White is crafting a convenient storyline to fit his narrative. Ngannou recalled past meetings with the UFC, where it was conveyed that Jones was the one reluctant to take the fight. According to Ngannou, the UFC cited Jones's contentment with his life in Albuquerque, where he was enjoying his wealth and stepping back from the sport. Ngannou understands that White, as the figure controlling the narrative, can present events in any way he chooses. However, Ngannou is firm in his stance that it was never his intention to dodge a fight with Jones. In fact, he had been eager to take on Jones for years, but only under conditions that were favorable to him. One of the primary reasons Ngannou walked away from the UFC was his desire for greater autonomy in his career, particularly the freedom to pursue opportunities outside of the octagon, such as boxing matches. Before his departure, he made it clear that he wanted more than just financial compensation from the UFC. He sought contractual terms that would allow him to explore these interests, which eventually led to his high-profile boxing matchups with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Ngannou's departure from the UFC also stemmed from other demands he made that went beyond monetary concerns. He wanted a fair deal that respected his ambitions and allowed him to explore new avenues in his career. Reflecting on his decision now, Ngannou, a native of Cameroon, has no regrets about leaving the UFC, even though it meant vacating his heavyweight title. Ngannou insists that his desire to fight Jones was genuine. However, he wasn't willing to compromise on the conditions of the fight. He didn't want to be locked into a deal that restricted his career choices or forced him into a situation he wasn't comfortable with. His goal was to ensure that the terms were clear and mutually beneficial, not just to fight for the sake of it or for a payday.